The movie opens in a bleak, dystopian future, where a fungal outbreak 14 years ago wiped out nearly all animal life on Earth. With 98% of the food chain destroyed, humanity descended into chaos. Wars erupted over farmland, now the world's most precious resource. Across one of these farms, a group of armed survivors approaches an isolated house. One man admires the lush crops while others quietly move to break in. They don't get far. One is instantly shot dead. The man outside raises his hands, claiming they only seek shelter. Before he can finish, a sharp whistle pierces the air. In seconds, the intruders are cut down one by one. A young boy named Cookie fires his gun, dropping another attacker. Gunfire erupts from all sides. Inside, Haley moves with lethal precision through the crops, taking out enemies with calm efficiency. Her daughter, Rain, provides cover from a window. Her son, Manny, catches a fleeing woman and stabs her repeatedly in rage. When the gunfire fades, silence returns to the farm. The Freeman family steps out to inspect the bodies, tense but alive. Haley's husband, Galen, and their other daughter, Danis, soon join them. They discuss how the attackers managed to get so close and vow to reinforce their defenses. That evening, the family gathers for dinner. The kids practice the whistling signals used for communication and warnings. Over the meal, they talk about their crops, their routines, and the constant need for vigilance. Before the night ends, Haley gives Manny a task to deliver supplies to her friend Augusta. She warns him sternly not to speak to strangers or get involved with anyone along the way. In the days that follow, the Freeman family's harsh routine continues. Mornings are for fight training, target practice, and security drills. Afternoons are spent repairing electric fences, hunting in the woods, and scanning the CCTV feeds for any movement. At night, Haley tunes in to the radio, listening for survivor broadcasts and farmland updates. One evening, her friend Augusta contacts her over the radio. Her voice trembles as she warns Haley about a group of ruthless raiders who have attacked 3 farming families. She begs Haley to come and train the survivors. But Haley refuses. Leaving the farm would mean exposing her family. The next morning, Manny drives to an abandoned building, fills a box labeled Augusta with supplies, and leaves it there before heading home. Later that day, Haley gets a chilling transmission. The Fleming family close neighbors are dead, even the children. Augusta adds something far worse. The attackers were a large, organized group of cannibals. Meanwhile, Manny, unaware of this horror, stops by a river on his way back. As he cools off, he spots a girl on the opposite bank. Curious, he peers through his rifle scope and watches her disappear into a hidden settlement deep in the forest. The image of her lingers in his mind long after he returns home. The next day, he goes back to the same spot, but she's gone. That night, unable to forget her face, he sketches her from memory. Days later, Manny, Galen, and Danis drive to a nearby depot in search of supplies. Inside, the air is heavy with decay. Danis suddenly freezes above them. Several bodies hang from the ceiling. Moments later, a small group of uniformed soldiers appears. Guns are raised, but one man steps forward calmly. He explains they're military personnel living with a local family to protect nearby farmers. Galen narrows his eyes. "Which family?" he asks. "The Flemings," the soldier replies. Before he can say another word, the Freemans open fire. The soldiers drop instantly. As silence falls, Galen looks at his children. "The Flemings are already dead," he says flatly. Before leaving, Manny suggests checking the bodies for anything useful. Galen nods reluctantly. "Make it quick." As Manny searches through a bag, Danis kneels beside another corpse. Suddenly, a gunshot echoes through the depot. Danis collapses. Behind her stands an elderly woman, one of the supposed corpses holding a smoking gun. She fires a single shot and runs. Galen rushes Danis home, where Haley quickly performs an emergency procedure to stabilize her. Manny blames himself for what happened since he was the one who wanted to stay, But Rain reminds him that Dennis is alive because of him. Haley tries reaching Augusta to report the attack, but gets no reply. That night, Manny hears movement outside and goes to check. In the darkness, he spots a shadowy figure and yells for them to stop. To his shock, it says the same girl he saw earlier by the river only. Now she is terrified and begging for help. The next morning, Galen and Haley gather everyone and order them to stay armed at all times, even when sleeping. They warn that some people disguise themselves as soldiers. But they're actually cannibals hunting not for supplies, but for people. Haley's voice is cold as she tells them, "If you see anyone suspicious, shoot first. Don't hesitate." Meanwhile, Manny hides the girl in the barn. He unties her gag, gives her water, and cleans her wound, insisting he means no harm. When she accuses him of kidnapping, he explains his mother doesn't trust outsiders. Later that night, Manny returns and asks who she really is. She pleads to use the radio, but he refuses. Breaking down, she says she only wants to know if her people are still alive. Moved, Manny releases her. She quietly admits she needs the radio to locate the Freeman farm. Manny freezes. When he asks why, she looks him in the eye and says, "Because my aunt told Mitha Freemans are the only ones who can help." The tension between them starts to fade as they talk. Manny admits he loves swimming, and the girl shyly confesses she saw him watching her at the river, which makes him blush. The next morning, Galen and Haley gather everyone for the day's duties, but quickly realize Manny is missing. In the barn, the girl plays his music and dances freely while Manny watches, mesmerized. The moment is cut short when Haley and Galen burst in. Haley drags the girl out while Manny is locked inside, pounding on the door in panic. Outside, Haley points her gun at the girl and demands the truth. The girl says her name is Dawn, claiming she's a nurse working with a government aid program to help farms. She says her group was ambushed, but Haley doesn't buy it and fires a warning shot. Terrified, Dawn blurts out that her Aunt Augusta sent her. Haley freezes, shocked. Meanwhile, Manny breaks free from the barn and rushes to the control room to contact Augusta, but there's no response. Haley storms in, furious. Manny insists Augusta might be in danger, but Haley argues that Augusta is a trained Marine who can take care of herself. She scolds Manny for being reckless and accuses Dawn of manipulating him. Their argument explodes until Manny storms out, grabs Dawn, and drives off to find Augusta. When Haley realizes they've gone, she races after them. Manny and Dawn reach Augusta's camp, but it's deserted. No people, no movement, just silence. Back at the farm, Galen notices a security camera flickering and heads outside to check. Meanwhile, Dawn leads Manny to an abandoned trailer and, with tears in her eyes, admits she tricked him. She reveals the cannibals captured her aunt and others, forcing her to lure Manny in. That's how they take over, by using hostages to gain control of farms. As she confesses, a shadow moves behind Manny. Elsewhere, Haley reaches Augusta's house. It's eerily quiet, blood streaked across the walls and floor. She calls out, searching every corner. Suddenly, a man grabs her from behind, and everything goes dark. Back at the farm, Galen spots what appears to be a deer, shocking sight since deer have been extinct for years. But as he steps closer, he realizes it's a trap. The deer is just a mask worn by a cannibal who ambushes him and knocks him out cold. Two men stay behind to feast on Galen, while the rest move toward the house. Inside, Rain and Cookie notice the CCTV feeds have gone dark. Sensing danger, Rain tells his sister to stay hidden, grabs a rifle, and looks out the window. He spots figures moving through the fog. Outside, Galen regains consciousness and finds himself pinned to the ground as the cannibals drive a nail through his hand. One of them bites him, but Galen fights through the pain, rips his hand free, and uses the nail as a weapon, killing them both. Meanwhile, Haley wakes up in a dark basement, bound and disoriented. Beside her lies Augusta, badly injured but alive. Back at the farm, Rain opens fire on the approaching cannibals, taking several down before they return fire, shattering the windows. Galen's voice cuts through the chaos, yelling for them to fall back to the basement. In the basement, Haley and Augusta talk. Haley tells her about the girl who came to the farm, claiming to be her niece. Augusta confirms it was true she sent Dawn under duress. The cannibals had forced her to do it, knowing Haley would likely shoot on sight. Haley promises to get her out, but Augusta reveals there are also hidden children who need saving. Moments later, the cannibals return. Their leader confronts Haley, mocking her for pretending to be better than them. Hay tells her she's just like them, killing others to protect her own. Haley calls them monsters for eating humans, but the leader laughs, saying survival makes everyone a monster. As he speaks, one of the men brutally slices Augusta, preparing her body as food, while Haley screams in fury, restrained and helpless. Elsewhere, Manny and Dawn sit with 3 starving teenagers who devoured the food he brought. Dawn apologizes for leading him into a trap, explaining she only did it to save her aunt and the kids. Manny forgives her and promises to rescue Augusta so they can all escape together. Back in the basement, Haley lies half-conscious as a bald man steps forward, raising a knife to finish her. Haley suddenly overpowers the bald man, strangles him with the chains, and grabs his rifle. At that moment, the cannibal leader bursts in and shoots the dying man dead, narrowly missing her. Back at the farm, Galen hides with Rain and Cookie in the basement, but Dennis is still upstairs, hiding in a closet. Knowing he can't leave her behind, Galen steels himself and quietly heads up to rescue her, warning his daughters to stay hidden no matter what. Meanwhile, Haley fights her way out of the basement and reunites with Manny, who has arrived searching for Augusta. When he sees Augusta's lifeless body, he's crushed. In that moment, he finally understands why Haley is so relentless. Everything she does is to protect her family. At the farm, Galen moves through the dark, bleeding but determined. Rain shuts the blinds and kills the power, plunging the house into darkness. Using it to his advantage, Galen ambushes the intruders one by one. When Rain finally restores the lights, she finds her father standing over their corpse, bloodied but victorious. Elsewhere, Haley and Manny find Dawn with the 3 teens. When Dawn learns her aunt is dead, she collapses in grief. Back home, Galen carries Dennis to the basement before finally collapsing from blood loss. His daughters rush to save him, doing everything they can to stop the bleeding. On the CCTV monitors, Rain spots 2 figures outside, dousing the walls with gasoline. Despite his injuries, Galen insists he can still fight. "Let them in," he tells her grimly. Moments later, Haley and the group reach the farm, but before they can get inside, gunfire explodes around them. Haley yells for Manny to take the teens to the basement while she holds off the attackers. Inside, Rain follows her father's plan and lets 2 cannibals inside. She pretends Dennis is dead, lying motionless on the floor. One cannibal presses a knife to her throat while the other scans the room. Outside, Haley takes a bullet but keeps fighting. She kills several cannibals before running out of ammo and is forced to retreat, limping toward the house as flames begin to rise. One of the cannibals stumbles upon a hidden door leading to a storage room packed with ammunition and a cabinet filled with rare herbs and spices. Before she can react, Galen forces himself to his feet and shoots her dead. At the same time, Dennis drives a knife into the second cannibal's side, and Rain finishes him with a clean shot to the head. Moments later, Manny bursts in with Dawn and the rescued teens. Rain looks furious to see Dawn back, but Dawn ignores her and immediately begins tending to the severely wounded Galen. Realizing Haley is still outside and in danger, Manny grabs his rifle and sprints out again. Outside, Haley limps toward the barn, clutching her bleeding side. She's surrounded by the last 3 cannibals. Despite her injuries, she fights back with sheer willpower, killing 2 with her blade before the third stabs her in the back and pins her to the ground. Just as he's about to finish her, A gunshot rings out. Manny shoots him dead. He drops to his knees beside her, begging her to hold on, but Haley's eyes grow heavy. She takes one last breath as Manny breaks down, holding her close. Days later, the sun filters softly through the farmhouse windows. The children quietly set the table for lunch, moving with a calm rhythm that feels new and fragile. Then, footsteps echoed down the stairs. Haley appears alive, scarred, but standing. The family rushes to her, tears and relief in their eyes. They sit together for a silent meal, the war behind them, their bond unbroken. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more movie stories like this. Thanks for watching.